So, Paula, I don't want to bum you out or our listeners
Those
out.
things do these days.
It's a very low bar. But you were originally supposed to be in Italy when this episode came out, right?
That is correct, Josh. Yeah. I got a bargain. My boyfriend and I got bargain basement price tickets to Italy. That we're gonna have a layover in Stockholm, and then we were going to Italy, and we found this very cheap Airbnb, and we were doing cooking classes, and it was gonna be very cool. And obviously, people have bigger problems right now. So I understand how annoying it is for me to even talk about. But yes, we did have to plan around it because I was supposed to be, at the moment we're recording this, sitting in Rome.
I'm so sorry. And again, there's lots of problems out there, lots of people with harder problems, including people in Italy.
Yeah. Mine's the biggest.
But so what I thought we might do on the podcast is I thought I might give you the gift of that experience still. So okay. I'd like to do a little role play where I provide a tapestry of words that puts you in Italy so that you still get at least a little bit of your vacation.
I love it.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
Let's set the scene. You're sitting down at a table. It's a trattoria. It's right just as they reopen after taking a nice siesta. You're ready to sit down for your evening meal. And it's not really dinner because Italians eat dinner at 11 p.m. Okay. It's just a little snack in the middle of the afternoon after a whole day of sightseeing and doing various activities. And you just sat down and I'm your waiter, okay? Buongiorno, principessa.
Now, are you Josh, my waiter, or are you an Italian gentleman?
Well, we'll have to find out.
Okay, cool. Oh, buongiorno. I took 3 whole lessons in Duolingo to prepare.
Oh, thank you. Oh God, I just moved here from New Jersey. I don't really know Italian.
Oh, wow. You're playing the part very well.
Thank you. I've got Mediterranean features. Literally the only word I know is pizza. And so I'm here at this pizzeria, which is that the right pronunciation? It feels offensive every time I say it. It feels offensive.
Okay. What if I got really mean? Less talky, more bread.
Welcome to Being Earnest, a very sincere podcast. I'm Josh.
I'm Paula.
And we're here to talk with you about the earnest and sincere topics of the day. And Paula, what is our topic this week?
Our topic is sidekicks.
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 Helpers. People who are
Mom
there,
always
kind
said,
of.
Look for the helpers.
Yeah. Paula, what are the key elements of being a good sidekick?
That is a really good question. I think that a sidekick should be, and you need to be a little wacky. You have to be good at taking directions while occasionally able to save the day yourself. You know what I mean?
Can I amend that statement? I think that often sidekicks are wacky.
In sidekicks, but okay.
What?
I said I did my thesis in sidekicks, but
Sure.
I mean, I have a doctoral degree in sidekicks.
Sidekickery.
Side kooks.
Oh, the Latin version. So I would argue that most sidekicks are wacky because heroes or villains aren't wacky.
No, they're boring. Yeah.
They're boring. So that therefore you just have to be the opposite of whoever your attached protagonist is. So if the protagonist is wacky, you need to be the odd couple, very, tight-lipped kind of sidekick. But I feel
like normally if you have a sidekick, you're not wacky. Do you know what I mean?
Sure. You're just narcissistic.
Yeah. I think sidekicks are like the appetizer of a meal in that it is, I guess, an afterthought. Like you don't say, let's go to Applebee's for a appetizer platter. You say, let's go for the quesadilla burger, and then you get one.
What Applebee's are you going to that you're not going for the appetizer platter?
I'm finishing a sentence, Josh.
I'm incensed, but sure, go on, please.
Mr. I cheat at board games. But like you know that you're actually the most excited for the appetizer platter. Do you know what I mean?
Sure. I guess the expectations aren't as high on an appetizer platter / sidekick, so the bar is easier to get above.
But it's low key the best part of it.
Sure.
Is what I was saying. Yeah.
So yeah. To put this in practical terms, Batman and Robin, you're there for Robin.
Right.
You come for the Batman. You stay for Robin.
Yeah, exactly. Folks at home, this doesn't make any difference to you, but I normally can't. When Josh and I record social distancing, we are recording over a video chat.
Mm-hmm.
And so I never see myself when we're recording normally. And it's so cold in my apartment. I am covered in blankets and an old-timey grandma heating pad. And I will look like a loser.
Oh, no. You don't look like a loser.
Thanks, Joshy. Josh, I think the question, though, that brought us to decide to talk about this week is which one of us is the sidekick of Being Earnest, a very sincere podcast. I think I'm the sidekick.
And see, you'd already laid out a minefield.
Yeah.
You'd made a beautiful 40-acre minefield and said, Josh, let me lead you to this minefield. It'll be safe to walk to this minefield. And then about 4 minutes into the walk, you're like, there's a path. It's gravel. There's no mines on that minefield. And then as we stepped in 2 minutes into it, you've said, oh, there may be some mines on this gravel path as well.
It wouldn't be our friendship if I wasn't leading you into possible destruction the entire time.
So I earnestly and honestly think that this is a scenario where we're both the sidekick.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think we might be a podcast hosted by two sidekicks.
I know, which is, at a certain point why we only have the number of reviews that we have.
Oh, we can't get that 36.
Yeah.
No, hey, you have time at home, why not write a review?
Yeah, you make us heroes. So I do think we are different types of sidekicks, though. I think there's a wide range of sidekicks. So there's I would argue, for example, Robin is a ward. Neither of us is a ward because neither of us is a
like WARD, like a young person that an older rich person takes care of.
Yes, exactly.
Is that the relationship between Batman and Robin?
No, they're having sex.
Take care of Robin?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, that is the situation. It's like, I found this young protege and I'm going to give him... It's actually kind of a Tiger King situation.
Okay, so you are the young protege.
I'm saying neither of us is a ward, but...
But you might be a young protege.
Sure. I think the sidekick that I am is the one where the other person is the administrative assistant sidekick. Someone's like, oh shoot, I don't have, and I'm like, a pen. And I've got 6 or whatever. Or for example, Josh, what's my 7 p.m.? Oh, you have a meeting with the Duke, sir.
I love it. Have you seen Veep?
I have not, but I know that what's his face? Yeah, Tony Hale?
Harry. Yeah. You're the Tony Hale. You're the Charles Boylan from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Charles Boyle?
Yeah, I can see you definitely being that. And sometimes saying wise, witty things that
it's
help guide the hero to where they need to be.
Right. And they're they're super useful, but they're also when you get one-on-one with them, they're very smart and fun, but in a way you weren't expecting.
Yeah.
You accidentally there's a B plot of this sitcom or this drama, and there's a whole episode about me going out for a night.
Yeah.
Or someone else, the love interest of the hero accidentally runs into me at the club.
Yeah, and you're loving the club.
Yes.
Yes. That's where Josh is most at home.
What kind of sidekick do you think you are?
I have thought about this a lot, Josh. I think I am the quirky best friend in the romantic comedy.
That feels very right. The one who's like, he's not right for you.
Yeah, I'm the one who like is like wearing like mixed animal prints, like the entire movie. And I have a job that's not like a real job, but is like a very quirky best friend job. Like I design
frames.
What?
You design frames.
Yeah, like I design frames, and like my hobby is like building very specific like dollhouse rooms or something.
Sure. Yes, exactly.
And I exist to go to brunch with the main girl and be like, honey, you deserve better.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And then at the end, I drive them to the airport.
Yeah.
And I go get your man. Forget about my thing. I know it's my birthday, but you need to get on that plane and get your love. Go to him.
I feel like the best case scenario for that version of sidekick is Carrie Fisher in When Harry Met Sally.
Mm-hmm.
Like you get some plot.
Yeah, and
some lovin'.
Yeah, I was gonna say you might be lucky enough to get to date the male lead's sidekick.
Yes, right, exactly. Maybe it's either that you fall in love with them, or that there's a scene where they try to set you up with them, and it's just a horrible match.
Yeah,
and there's no in between.
Yeah, and my best friend, the main girl, knows nothing about me. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I kind of just exist to serve.
Right, exactly. It's like we go way back. We went to college together.
We went to all the school together.
At one point, we were roommate.
I live in a loft that is like aggressively like bohemian, you know,
and that she just moved out of.
Yeah, and she trips a lot. She's like very clumsy because the lead girl is always very clumsy. And I'm the one in like yoga class being like, "Don't embarrass me here."
Yeah.
As I'm wearing like a crazy outfit, farting.
I'm in love with the teacher, and it's just a fun little subplot. And like maybe there's a moment at the wedding where you get to kiss the teacher.
No. It'll show me look at him, and then that's it.
And everyone in the movie's like, I got it. I think the other type of sidekick that neither of us, I would think, are, but can exist is a hench person.
Yeah.
So that's like sidekicks for bad people.
That's like a bad guy sidekick. Okay. That's like a Dracula's friend.
Yeah, like Igor, or like like the that guy, or like
someone to do your bidding. Yeah.
Yeah, zombies that do your bidding, or like, yeah, exactly.
And then there's also the sidekick of the quirky neighbor, which is, I think, different.
Yes, that's like the Kramer type.
Yeah. And that's like even more aggressively weird.
Oh, sure.
Because that's somebody who you interact with out of necessity.
Mm-hmm. Do you know your neighbors?
My building is actually like extremely close in a way that feels like a movie.
Really?
Yeah, I know all my neighbors. We like get every like holiday, like we'll put together, well, not right now, but we'll put together like Easter baskets for all the kids in the building. Like everybody in the building exchanges Christmas gifts. We all have a group chat. In the summer, like we all hang out in the backyard together. Yeah, it's like everyone is like legitimately close.
That's crazy. How did that happen? Did you move into this place and they were like, welcome? Or did you organize this? Or like,
I don't know. I mean, it just kind of like we all just like get along really well. And there's like a lot of kids in my building, and I pretty much only have stuff in common with children. And I don't know. I think we just like we just got lucky.
That's amazing. My downstairs neighbor made a noise complaint against me last week. So
what did you do? What?
They said that it sounded like I was repeatedly dropping a bowling ball on the ground.
What?
In quiet hours. And I mean, you know me, Paula. I'm not a night owl.
You are, but Josh, to be fair, you are addicted to dropping bowling balls. You keep calling it a workout, and I keep telling you I don't think that's a workout. And then you like to go, time for me to hit the gym, and I'm like, what do you mean? And you're just dropping a bowling ball. And not picking it up in an athletic way, you're just kind of dropping it and then like watching TV and then drop. It's very weird.
Yeah, at irregular intervals. That's how you make sure that you get the muscles to really get woken up.
So she said it sounded like you were dropping bowling balls?
Yeah, exactly. And so I sent a very nice but a little bit pointed. So she went straight to the management company. Didn't even like leave me a note. Like, well, I know that like we're social distancing, all this kind of stuff. Like, it's good that she didn't come up but I would have rather like we handled it between the two of us.
Yeah.
But then so I sent back an email being like, hey, it's probably workout related. Totally get it. Like, if I work out from this time to this time, I'm trying to be as quiet as possible, but if there's an issue, like, please pass along my email. We can figure it out between the two of us if there's a better time. Like,
damn.
But like, just trying to make it through this quarantine. And then they sent back a thing being like, hey, yeah, it was like in the middle of the night and made the dog bark. And like, were you doing late night laundry or something like that? Because your laundry machine is over their bedroom. And I was like, I am not doing late night laundry. This is crazy. Also, like, if you are doing this more than one, like, it seems like this happened once and they flipped out. So I sent a little, I just sent a little like, yeah, well, I haven't really changed the habit of laundry since I've moved in a year and a half ago. Because I know this person is new. So, we'll see. Wow. Either I get evicted or...
You are the subject of a group chat right now. There is a group text being like, can you believe that freaking neighbor above me is dropping his bowling ball at 1 a.m. again?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that sucks.
Yeah. So, I've never really met any of my neighbors. There's one guy who goes to the same gym that I do, in the before times when we could go to the gym.
Yeah.
And we do like... Well, we do like the, like, I know you're living my building head nod.
Oh. I feel like knock on wood, I've had really good luck because my neighbors are really close right now. And Tess, who's like one of my closest friends, we met because we were across the hall neighbors.
That's just like never been a thing that I've ever experienced from even really in college. Like, my friends weren't the people freshman year, like it kind of was. But in general, like, my friends were never the people who lived right where I lived. Like, I've really never gotten to know any of my neighbors in Chicago. I'm lucky because I have a lot of friends in my neighborhood because I haven't left my neighborhood in 3 weeks. So like, I can see from a safe 10-foot distance, a couple other friends, but like, I really don't know the people in my building. I didn't know the people. I had a friend who got me into the last building that I was in, but I knew him before that. And I only met the other person I actually kind of met, because he let me in during a rainstorm because I had locked myself out. And we became friendly, but like, that's it. It was never like, I know everyone who lives here.
Huh. So do you think you're the norm or do you think I'm the norm?
I really don't know who's the norm. It feels like we should maybe give this to the listenership to let us know what you think. But I mean, it feels like having social interaction with your neighbors in a city is a much more like bygone era to me.
I maybe, but I am never forget a small town hick who wandered into the city one day. So I also could be forcing my norms onto everybody.
Do you think you could ever ride in a motorcycle sidecar and feel the same about yourself afterwards?
Okay, can we talk about what a motorcycle sidecar is? So it's a motorcycle.
Yes.
And then sometimes there is, I mean, I feel stupid being like, let's talk about what a motorcycle is. It's a motorcycle, but there's a sidecar.
It's like using the word in the definition.
Yeah, it's like the little side, it's a little side piece to a motorcycle.
Well, let's be clear about this then, Paula. Let's build it from the pieces up. First, we have wheel. Then we have two wheel. Then we have bicycle. Human foot make bicycle go.
Yeah.
Then we have gear.
Then we have motor.
Mm-hmm. Then we have motorcycle.
The thing about sidecars is, first off, I think they look delightful.
Sure.
Like, I think I would have a lot of fun, but I do think I would have to let go of the sliver of self-respect that I still have.
Sure.
Because if you're in a sidecar, you know you're wearing goggles.
And it's just the like, I know I'm sitting somewhere that in a cartoon a monkey would sit.
I think if you ride in a motorcycle sidecar, you are forever a sidekick.
Yeah, right. It's like you can't go back at that point.
No. Can you picture though being in a hardcore motorcycle gang? Like we join a motorcycle gang.
Sure.
But we don't have motorcycles, we only have sidecars.
Yeah, it's the apprentice program. I feel like in that motorcycle gang, someone in a rival motorcycle gang would make fun of it. And the person who we're riding with would be like, hey, don't talk about my sidekick like that. And we'd have to be like, yeah, don't talk about us like that.
And then we'd have to get out of the sidecar and we're 12 feet tall and shredded.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
I think, you know what? I think I've cracked the code here.
all
Why
right.
it's so humiliating to be in a sidecar. It's
just
two
three-
things.
Yeah.
It's two things.
Okay.
One, it's the lack of control. You're not driving. You're just a passenger in a ultimately like passenger. Like it's not a problem if you're in a car, but
Yeah.
it's
And
so
then decided you're not hot enough to do the arms around the waist, like riding with the breeze.
Right, exactly. I think the second reason is, have you ever like really given more than a few seconds of thought to how embarrassing it would be to get in or out of a sidecar?
Is there a little door? You just kind of got to lower
you're
yourself.
like popping up out like a bobsled, I think. I don't think there's a little door on the side. It's almost worse if there's a little door on the side.
But I do think like everything about it is embarrassing. And I can almost guarantee you there would be nothing more fun.
Then riding in it or getting in and out?
Yeah. Than riding in it.
Sure. You get the like, yeah, it's the flappy goggles. You get the whole, wind in your face.
How much do you think a sidecar costs?
Well, a motorcycle is like what? Like 10 or 20K? Something like that? It's
Probably
like,
very expensive.
yeah, I feel like a sidecar, it's got to be at least $5,000, right?
You're actually pretty close. $3,950 plus $404.88 tax, but free shipping. I feel like, you did say the sidecar, we laughed, but like, I've kind of come around on it. I would actually prefer a sidecar. While of course the technical definition of sidekick is somebody who stands at your side and helps you kick bad people from the side.
Mm-hmm.
I think that some inanimate objects can be sidekicks too.
Sure.
Like some foods you would never eat on their own.
Okay, two questions here.
Sure. I didn't think this out very well, so
is
I'll
a
make
food
up
an
the answer.
inanimate object?
Yeah.
Is a food
Does
an
your
object?
food talk to you? Does your food talk to you, Josh?
But it may have at one point been animate.
Well, now it's inanimate. All right, let's dive in on this shit. You're telling me that like a bag of Cheetos is not an inanimate object.
No, I think that a bag of Cheetos is very much it's part of a still life. So I guess it would be like you could paint a still life in the Renaissance fashion. And therefore, if it is allowed to be in a still life, it can be an inanimate object, I guess. But like, I guess what I'm going to is like, is a roast chicken an inanimate object?
Yes. Yes.
I don't
Josh,
know.
I am upset. I think what you're trying to say is it once was a living creature.
Yeah, and I'm going to double down on this. A wooden desk, not an inanimate object.
Oh my God.
It was once a living creature.
Sometimes you pick a hill to die on, and it is never the hill I think you're going to pick. But what I am actually hearing in this is you think life is like the movie Toy Story, and all of this is coming to life and prancing around at night.
Oh no, I don't think this is a Beauty and the Beast situation.
A little part of you does.
I don't think my side table is coming to life next to my bed when I'm asleep, being like, be our guest, be our guest.
Well, that's maybe why your neighbor was so pissed.
Yeah,
He's up there at 1 a.m. singing "Be Our Guest."
Why do they have tap shoes on? He got these new candles, and they're the worst.
Josh, I have a migraine from you telling me. I don't even know if I need to spend the rest of this podcast episode diving in, or if I need to jump out a window right now from you saying you don't know if a wooden desk is an inanimate object.
No, I'm gonna die on this hill. This is the hill I'm gonna die on, and it's gonna be covered in live animate trees.
Sometimes you just shock me.
Can I tell you a fun fact?
I don't know if I want to hear it, but okay.
Do you want to know the actual origin of the term sidekick?
Yes.
From our friends at the Wikipedia.
Oh, thank you for sponsoring our episode.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, a nonprofit organization. The term is believed to have originated in pickpocket slang of the late 19th and early 20th century. The
pickpocket slang.
Yeah. The kick was the front pocket on a pair of trousers, believed to be the pocket safest from theft. But thus, by analogy, a sidekick was a person's closest companion.
Josh, the late 18th century had full slang for pickpocketers.
Yeah.
All right, let's dive in. Screw the sidekick. What else do we think was their slang? 3 lines on a tree meant that he carries a sack of quarters.
I found an article from, who knows if it's a reputable website, called theweek.com. This has 10 sneaky pieces of thief slang.
Okay, so this is a little bit broader, so it's not quite hitting what I want to, which is we only talk like 18th century pickpocketers, but I'll allow it. Sure.
Oh, no, but it's got examples.
Okay, good.
So one is an Adam Tyler. An Adam Tyler is a pickpocket's accomplice who takes the stolen goods and leaves with them. It's from the 1660s. It's Adam, the name of the first man, and Tyler, slang for pickpocket,
his
or tiller.
Friend. Adam, the name of his first man, and Tyler, his buddy.
Why, an autumn driver is a pickpocket who practices in a church, and an Adam Tyler is his associate who receives his booty and runs off with it. This was from Tales of My Father and My Friends from 1823.
Josh, I am so obsessed with this. Imagine when we're out, knock on wood, walking amongst the people once again, and everyone's like, what did you do? Did you do anything useful with your time in quarantine? And we have to go, no, we didn't. And then we mark our noses and we know the code because we actually became expert pickpocketers.
Mm-hmm.
Talking in code. Go grab the Adam Tyler and stick him in the sidekick lane, okay? Mister, why don't you go ahead and slap the yoga mat and put it on the monkey? I'm obsessed with that. But Josh, kind of getting back, let's not forget, let's just circle back that you don't think a desk is an inanimate object. Food. I think that some food is definitely sidekick. Like I don't need to ration this because all logic is out the door. You ruined logic for America. But
I'd argue for the world based on our listenership.
That's true. Hello, our friends in Canada and Germany. Like baked beans. That's a sidekick food.
I agree. And so I think that it goes as deep as there are dishes that are sidekick dishes, because like side dishes. But I think there's actual ingredients that are never going to be the star of the show.
Yeah,
like, full
I agree.
On, they're like just cannot and will not be the star of the show. Like broccoli.
That's a sidekick.
Yeah, it's a sidekick vegetable.
But like a Brussels sprout, that could be the hero.
Yeah. Big Brussels sprout energy in the last decade.
Yeah, it's not a side dish sidekick.
No.
List out some foods. I'll tell you if they're a sidekick or a hero.
Carrot.
So a carrot is for sure a sidekick.
Yeah. Kale.
That's a hero. Or a villain.
Ice cream?
Hero.
Chocolate bar.
It's a sidekick.
Interesting.
And look, that's a rom-com best friend. That's a sidekick who is, I think, great in their own right, but that's a sidekick.
Raspberries.
Raspberry's a sidekick.
Milk.
That's a hero.
Coffee.
Hero. What if we did this for 4.5 hours? What if we did 4.5 hours of us just listing objects, listing food, and I tell you if they're a hero or sidekick, and listing objects, and you tell me if they're alive or not.
This sounds like our social media post for this week.
You were telling me if an object comes alive at night or not.
I'm just saying that it was alive at one point.
Can I ask a question about Beauty and the Beast?
Always.
Because you're the kind of the foremost expert, and I don't really know a lot about it.
Sure.
I
did play Lumiere in a middle school production of this, so you know.
Do you know that I have dated 3 Lumieres? Isn't that crazy? I have dated 3 guys who played Lumiere.
That's the kind of like deep information that big data has on you. It's like, that's the connection that they're looking for, is that to you, a person who has played Lumiere is someone who you want in your life. And like, that's terrifying to me that we've just stumbled upon the neural net figured, it may have not have figured it out yet, but we figured out the one common thing that makes you have strong relationships, romantic or otherwise, with men. It's like the keystone thing that you are looking for. Every bit of targeted marketing is around, is this the kind of thing that Paula would like because she likes men who've played Lumiere?
Oh, Jesus. I know our podcast, a solid percentage is just us misremembering Disney. But so with Beauty and the Beast, with all the objects in the castle, right?
Sure.
Not all of them were actually alive, correct? Like, there were some objects that were simply things.
Yes, because...
Is that correct?
Well, the difference here is that these were all humans who got turned into objects.
Right. So, like, oh, you might be turned into a clock, but there also could be a clock that's just a clock.
Yes.
Can you imagine how goddamn confusing that would be for them?
Imagine if you started having romantic feelings for another clock. You're like Cogsworth, and you're just like, "Oh, Ms. Timex, you look fetching today."
It's like the TV show Catfish, which I have watched nothing but that for the past 3 days. But
okay.
You're like, oh, like, they're just like a really like silent type. Like, they just like a really good listener. They just like support me. And then Neve and Max come in and they're like, that's because it's a clock. It's not a person pretending like that's been turned into this.
Be our guest. These are human. That's a clock.
Like, you would think they would have to come up with a system.
Yeah,
like they would have to like stick things on the things that were just objects.
Yeah, they just put little sticky notes on them.
And now the Beast staff was enormous. There were thousands of employees.
Yeah, he was a job creator.
Yeah, he certainly was the #1 job creator in the area.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, all those dishes. And then,
that's how the economy works, Paula, is that the rich people gather all the money so that then they can employ and make sure that the economy grows. Yeah?
I can't handle this right now.
Trickle down beastonomics.
Oh, God. Wait. So, I have a lot of questions now. So were the objects in Beauty and the Beast, did they still earn a salary of some sort?
Oh, no. Why would, again, this guy, it's probably a messed up system where there isn't a salary
Jeff
anyway.
Bezos all over again.
And he's just, the Beast himself is just providing food and lodging in a way where it's like, well, you're employed and you have a roof over your head, right? Like, that's salary enough. Like, think about how much it would add up to if you thought about how much, food and board, room and board would cost. I'm actually paying you a really large salary, but like they also have no free will. So I think this is honestly like probably the bookkeeper for the prince who turns into the beast, who I can only imagine like turns into a talking ledger and is like, hey, Prince, this is actually a boon for you. I don't know why he's Jewish, but I'm Jewish, and so we're going to go here. It's the same thing that's happening with like office space right now, where every single accountant in these large Fortune 500 companies is like, it does cost a lot less when people are working remote, huh? It does cost a lot less. It costs a lot less when your whole staff turns into knives and forks.
Sure. But do we think now the business part aside, because when people start talking business, facts, things like that, all I hear in my head is like just like nothing. But my question here is kind of, there are hundreds of employees who are turned into plates.
Sure.
But that means there's still a few plates around.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say they were kind of concerned about the real plates stealing their jobs. So they smashed them.
Yeah. Is it a hate
murder?
crime?
Is that murder? If you're a human who's been turned into a plate and you smash another plate so it doesn't steal your job, is that murder, Josh? I'm asking a simple question. I'm asking a tale as old as time. Tale as old as time. Is it murder if Mrs. Potts broke a different pot? And if you break as a human who's been turned into a plate, do you die?
Yeah, no, so yes.
Holy cow.
So here's what I would argue. If I am a plate and you are a plate and I break you, that's murder.
I will break you. So do you think then when you all turn back into humans, I do not.
Well, yeah, you turn back into a human, but in multiple pieces. I don't think oh my God, the logistics of this, even just the logistics of turning everyone into plates and spoons and chandeliers and things like that were equal to their rank within the house.
There's
the amount of planning just to do it in one spell. You know what I mean? Like to make sure that like the butler is something that makes sense as opposed to just another plate.
But then, okay, so like Chip, like the cup Chip, who was a child, which is bizarre anyway.
Was he a child before he was a cup?
Chip was a child, and Mrs. Potts was certainly his grandmother, who he'd been told his entire life was his mother. You know what I mean? Like, Mrs. Potts had a teenage daughter who had a child, Chip. But then she didn't want to raise her. So one day Chip will grow up to find out that Mrs. Potts was actually his grandmother and his sister was actually his mom.
Can we also talk about this for a minute? Did they take on identities once they were inanimate objects? Because there's no way her name is Mrs. Potts. There's no way that other person's name is Lumiere. It's like, in a way to cope, they had to change their name. Like, it's Brian and like Charlize. Like, I think this is relevant to us in quarantine. Like, do we all need quarantine names?
Yeah, trauma really makes people do weird stuff.
Yeah, just to be able to be like, this is how I'm going to cope. I know right now that for the moment and for the foreseeable future, I am a bookshelf. Therefore, I am going to be named Shelvin.
So therefore, it should just be, our quarantine names should just be what we're doing the most. So I've turned into a person who only watches Catfish and makes tiny pie out of clays.
I was going to say Catfish is a dope-ass nickname.
Yeah, I'm Catfish. And you're Bowling Ball. Wait, but we have to get back to my question.
Though I do like, hold on just as a second, I do like us as a Shock Jock Radio duo named like Catfish and the Grill Daddy. I bought a grill recently.
Folks, the most surprising part about that is he didn't already own one. He has a big grill energy. Josh, but I have to get back to this because I desperately need this answered. So, Chip, Mrs. Potts' son, who's actually your grandson, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is called Chip because there's a big chip in him.
Mm-hmm.
So when he is turned back into a human, is there like a giant chip in his head? Do you know what I mean? Because I think that's going to answer a question of if you murder a plate and it's turned back into a human, how many pieces it's in.
Yeah, exactly. Like when he turns back into a human, is he missing like 4 fingers?
Right. It's kind of like that. Like if you die in a dream, do you die in real life?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like that, but if you say it confidently, it sounds like it could be like that.
So, Paula, I think we would be disappointing our listenership if we didn't talk about the Mount Rushmore of sidekicks.
Ooh, okay. And we're talking specific sidekicks, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I have one that I would like to nominate off the bat.
I'm ready.
Clippy from Microsoft Word.
That's a correct answer.
He's an assistant. He's helpful. He's there, always there with a smile. He's there when you don't necessarily need him, but he is there when you need him.
Just like a good sidekick.
Right, exactly.
Okay, I love that.
Cool. One of the 4 slots.
Now, Josh, I hate to say it, but what about a minion? Because there's millions of them. And look, I'm not a minion head like there seems to be for some reason now.
Sure.
But we simply can't ignore the service that they've contributed to the sidekick arena.
It's true. It's true. And here's my big kind of question philosophically with this is that can we nominate an entire species for this? Or is it an individual minion? Like minion 157 for a...
Like who represented it best?
Yeah, exactly.
That's a really good question. And, you know, and it's like, look, it's kind of that age-old thing of like, do I want to hang out with George Washington? No, I think he was a problematic figure. But that does not take away from like, he did some really groundbreaking things that affected the country forever, right?
Sure.
And that's kind of the minions here. Do I want to hang out with them? No, I think they're monsters. That being said, we can't ignore the impact that they've had on the entire, you know, sidekick universe.
Sure. I agree with that. I think that's a worthy thing. And maybe we could just like have a couple minions peeking their heads out on that 1/4 of the mountain.
Yeah.
I'd also like to nominate I'd like to nominate Patrick Star from SpongeBob.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
I think he's the epitome of the kind of sidekick buffoon.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. Do you know who else I think would maybe be good to have on here?
Who?
Ethel, Lucy's best friend from I Love Lucy.
I've seen like 2 episodes of I Love Lucy.
That sucks. You need to figure out your life. But I think she should be on because so Ethel as an actress, Vivian something, was actually famously extremely hot and talented and younger. And they kind of played her up to look a little bit more, you know, dowdy.
Interesting.
And so, I mean, that is like a sacrifice that sometimes sidekicks have to make. They have to know when to be in the spotlight and when to take a little bit of a sidestep.
When to hold them and when to fold them, one would say.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, the sidekick is there to take one for the team.
Right.
Because they know the collective whole is more important than their individual success.
That's exactly correct.
I don't want to shake this up because I know we already have 4.
Sometimes Mount Rushmores can be 4, but sometimes they can be 700.
I'd also really like to put the Speed Racer monkey in there.
Yeah,
I don't know his name.
No, Speed Racer monkey feels right.
Yeah, he's got overalls. He's got a little hat. He's in the trunk.
I'm going to look up a picture so I know what he looks like.
I believe his name is Chim Chim.
It's Chim Chim the monkey. Okay, he looks amazing. Yeah, I'll allow Chim Chim on that.
Yeah, it's the overalls is really what makes it.
Yeah, because his sidekick knows how to dress dapper.
Yes, exactly.
So I'm picturing this is our Mount Rushmore is eight minion, Patrick, Ethel, and Clippy, and then Chim Chim is climbing the side of the mountain.
I love that, but I also love the idea that there is a larger mountain that this is on the side of.
Yeah.
Because they don't get their own mountain. They're sidekicks.
They're sidekicks. Yeah. They're on the side of Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, right. Just the other side. People be like, have you seen the North Face?
Are vice presidents sidekicks?
You know, Paula, sometimes we do these exercises and the goal is to just, open up the mind and let the creativity flow. And this is exactly what we aim for, is that it's taken us, 45, 50 minutes to get to the true question is our vice president sidekicks. And the ultimate truth is yes.
Yeah, they are. A vice president is the most famous sidekick. A vice president is the country's most powerful sidekick.
Yeah, well, it's vice presidents and first spouse. The two of them are the two sidekicks, the bottom of the sidekick triangle that hold up the president.
And I would say a spouse is not always a sidekick.
Sure, they can be.
They can be, but I don't think they always are. But a vice president is truly a sidekick.
Yes.
A vice president is the president of sidekicks.
Oh, yeah, for sure. The dean of sidekicks.
I'm glad we figured this out.
Yeah, I'm really glad we got here. I feel so much more accomplished.
Yeah, me too.
I think that's going to do it for us.
I think that's going to do it for us.
Thank you for listening yet again to our little podcast. We really appreciate it. Before we get to kind of our outro stuff, if you have a moment to smash that like button, meaning write a review, do a rating on Apple Podcasts, on Stitcher, wherever it allows you to do that. Tell a friend. Hopefully, we think that this is kind of calming, contemplative, and fun, stress-free media. So unless, your friends are really incensed by the idea of a human being turned into an object and then not having any of their limbs when they come back, we think that this is, hopefully a nice little reprieve from everything else that's going on in the world right now. And we hope you're all staying safe.
I cannot believe you just said this is a stress-free medium when you spent half this podcast telling me a wooden desk is alive.
I didn't say it was alive. I said it was alive at one point.
Anyway, everybody, yes, we really hope you're all staying safe and doing well. And, we're going to continue putting this out. And if there's anything we need, I mean, I say that every episode, but it's like, for me right now, I think one of the hardest things is like, we all feel kind of helpless. And we all want to not feel helpless. So if there is something that you need from us, let us know. Maybe we can't do anything super useful, but we can send memes and continue launching our Mavis Beacon typing challenge. So get in on that.
Yes, please. It's time now for our weekly signature segment, Earnest Moment of the Week.
Imatwa!
We've got an Imatwa here from listener Sarah. She's at Burn This Flame on Instagram.
Hi.
She says, the other day, I was cleaning up the garden in front of my apartment when one of my after-school students came down the sidewalk with his dad. I said hi and asked him how online learning was going. He looked at me like I was some kind of cryptid. Is this your house? He asked. Then it dawned on me, like many kids before him, he had never realized that teachers don't just live at school.
Oh my God.
Yep, I'm just working in my garden. He pointed down the street. I live down there. He glanced back as he walked away. I can only imagine he was unsettled, like seeing a giraffe wandering around outside the zoo.
Oh my God. She saw that happen in real time.
Yeah. All I can think of is that episode of Arthur where they're like, Mr. Ratburn, you don't live at school?
Oh my God. I love that so much. That gave that kid something to think about for days later. I guarantee you that kid brought it up several times, being like, so she lives there.
Yeah, like calling their parents in the middle of the night, be like, Mom, like, what's wrong, honey? It's like, how does she get from there to school so quickly? They're like, the same way you do. No.
No. If you have a little bit of time, you can give us a follow all over social media. We are at beingearnestpod. And we are also at beingearnestpod@gmail.com. So send us suggestions or ideas or topics or comments or whatever you would like to send it right our way.
And thank you, as always, to Ryan Cruz for our beautiful logo. She's at RB Cruiser on Instagram. And to Dylan Dutch for our lovely theme song. He's at Dylan Dutch on Twitter. And until next week, just remember, once you ride in the sidecar, you're gonna be a sidekick.
Thank you, everybody.
Stay safe and see you next week.
Why not be